It's been over 20 years the metal scene in India has survived with the help of its limited set of loyal metalheads, and me proudly being one of them. But living in a society where classical, folk, and Bollywood music has remained prime, preferred, and easy listening for decades now, what has led to its survival? To answer this question, let me take you on a journey to my underground world of metal music.
That happened way back. I don't remember how I discovered when I got into that thing. It changed the whole perspective of my music.
It's been around 10 years that I've been into metal. It was first when my mom got me a guitar, then I started listening to Bon Jovi, and when I went to my guitar classes, my sir taught me No More Lies by Iron Maiden, and that is what got me into heavy metal.
Came to hear about this music obviously in your teenage years, and I think my exact, I think I was like 12, 13, around that age group, being an angry kid, a teenager where you just have a lot of pent up frustration. It eventually, I think you naturally get drawn towards this sort of music and it just pulls you in. And it's something that sort of sticks with you for life. At least for me, it has for a lengthy period of time.
When I reached 10th or 11th grade, got exposed to a lot of new music from MTV and other channels that show that kind of music, right? And once I got hooked to that, I wanted to play the guitar. So I spent like a couple of years trying to figure out, a way to learn guitar. And my cousin, in fact, accidentally left a guitar in my place. So that's how I kind of like started playing. Okay.
People who listen to English music, some people. So those people influenced me in a way. My friend Shani gave me Metallica Black Album for the first time, and that completely changed my life. And that time, internet was not there, so I had to collect music, and I had to buy booze and everything to give to these people so that they will listen to some music. So if I give one bottle, they will give things like Children of Boredom and small things like that. But if I give them 2 bottles, they will give me Cannibal Corpse and things like that. So I had to do all this to collect music.
My dad actually got music imported from outside and started recording it in blank cassettes and giving it to people. So they were actually listening to heavy metal and this metal in general for the first time through my dad, and they actually started collecting cassettes, and that's how they even decided to form a band. So I was born into a family who listens to metal, so I was into metal even before I was born.
Metal in general speaks about the problems of the world. It does not necessarily talk about fantasies
To be very honest, I mean, the ethos of metal, the intensity, the no-holds-barred approach, and not giving a damn to what, commercial dictations are, and making music for ourselves, getting our frustrations out, getting our emotions out, on our terms, without any compromise, is what really draws me to heavy metal.
You feel this sense of brotherhood when you're among metalheads, because we know that this is like a minority of the whole music listeners, right? It's a very small faction of people that listen to this.
The main thing is like listening to these bands. They don't just make music to just show off to people or something like that. They just make music. They consider it as an art form or something. I don't know their perception, but to me, it's like expressing not the usual cliche way, normalcy way of expressing things, but still, it's something deeper. Like when you indulge in activities, playing a guitar or singing or even listening, it touches somewhere actually.
At one point of time, you want to get up on that stage. So that feel is different. And when you're on stage, then you go back, like thinking to yourself that, okay, there was a point of time where I was standing right there and wishing I was on stage, and now I'm here.
Initially, we had no venues in Bangalore, but we slowly started converting restaurants and pubs into venues because they didn't have a stage planned at venues. So we had to make a stage in some corner, and then they understand that people actually listen to live music, and then they started building stages and having a better sound setup. So it was tough in between. I mean, I've been in the scene for about 8 years now. And I started as a freelancer. I started helping other people organize shows, but then I decided I have to start my own company, and then I started Soundwave 4 years ago. So it was really tough in the beginning, and now I'm sure people are listening to more live music, and it's growing forever. It's not going to stop.
To open a gig, it's really tough here. Mainly the investor scenes, especially in metal genre. It's really, really tough. When we are approaching our project to an investor, first of all, they will ask what kind of music is this. Actually, all people will enjoy this music. They're asking just that kind of questions. But this particular crowd only, this kind of music is reaching, right? So if we are investing, what all of the benefits are we have?
As a heavy metal festival, I don't think, from my knowledge, we have any other big heavy metal festival in India. But there are quite a lot of other festivals with different genres of music. You have the NS11 festival, which it's a multi-genre festival. And I think there are quite a other few festivals in the far northeast. But I'm not really sure about the mainstream festivals. I think the NS7 is the only festival which is doing pretty well across the whole country.
Metal music is still very largely in the metros. It's not gone to the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities in a big way at least. Not big enough that they have even one venue where live music happens, let alone metal music. So I think once that cultural thing changes in smaller cities, it will help the metal scene as well.
Venues are limited, like all over the country, it's limited. Like, there's no touring circuit either. For example, if a band like us wants to tour India, it costs a lot of money. And for example, you play one show in Bangalore, you want to play another show in Bombay, there are no small stops like in between. Like, you can't do like 2 or 3 small towns on the way, which ideally should be there in the touring circuit. unfortunately what happens is that you have to book a flight, and most of the time there are no budgets to book a flight for like 5 individuals plus a sound guy and plus your manager might be there. So it at least revolves around the band plus at least 2 additional people, because if you have a lights guy then that's one more person. Depends on what your setup is and how long you've been around as well. Are you gonna sell tickets? So you have to sort of convince the venue to put in that sort of money, or getting sponsors to pull in that sort of money to make sure that this show is going to be worth it, this band is worth it. So that is the hard part. But yeah, that's pretty much how the scene's been working over the past few years. In fact, it's always been working like that for us at least.
There are a lot many things that go behind for a band to become successful, other than just sounding good. But the main fuel that ignites this success is its fans and supporters. This was pretty evident when Chaos, a thrash metal band from Kannur, had invited their fans and metalheads around the country to camp with them for 2 days and be a part of their music video for All Against All.
The nicest people I have met are from metal scene, right? And we are camping here since yesterday, and till now everybody from this group, they put money from their pocket to come here. They are sleeping on the floor, they have no problem, and they were completely moshing in the mud yesterday. They were completely covered in the mud, and since morning till night, and they had no problem.
At least 50 people from other parts of the country, from Karnataka or southern part of Kerala, they've come here. They've braved a Monday. They've taken off from work or studies and they're here. So metal, the number of people who are listening to it might be less, but they are the most passionate.
Everybody knows the metal scene, it's like a more of a broke scene, but you got to put in all your money and time and effort. So I guess we all face the same challenge, giving time to work, giving time to the band. But as Sceptre, we have been together for 18 years, and
it's more or less a labor of love, not just a band. So it's a band of brothers trying their best to keep it alive in spite of all the hardships and all the personal issues and everything. So yeah,
finding a member it can get very, very difficult at times, and it can be very disappointing as well. So there have been a lot of instances in our career when me and Nikhil would be just look at each other's face and dude, now what?
I've been playing in this band for the last 6-7 years. I'm not afraid to say that even today we haven't made single penny. Of course we made money, but that money goes into the band, maybe for buying the instruments, maybe for jamming, so maybe for our traveling, and in the end there will be an album also, right?
So we don't do this as a living, so I don't know how much it affects the industry, but it definitely has affected the industry, because that era of that rock star that they say is pretty much gone. If you see globally, there's so many talented musicians out there, but nobody is making millions and millions and rolling in riches and stuff like that. People have to really work their asses off and tour constantly. For us, promotion is tough because, like I said, here it's a pretty much DIY scene. So if you do find a manager, great. If you don't, you have to do everything as a band. It can get overwhelming for a band to manage themselves, and nowadays Facebook and stuff also, if you post something, unless you pay for it, it doesn't really go out to people. Not like when it first started out. If you have a page, you can tag people on a poster or a gig poster or something. People know a gig is happening. Nowadays there's a lot of restrictions and stuff, so it is getting difficult, but if you play your cards right, it's not it's not possible. It's just about being dedicated and putting in that time and effort and all that money into that band, which becomes the hard part, to be honest, because everyone with jobs and stuff, it's a little difficult to manage.
Metal is about rebellion. Metal is about shouting at things that piss you off. You need to stay pissed off.
Are you guys ready? Let's go!
There is space for all kinds of music in this world. Metalheads think, oh, EDM guys should listen to metal. But why? Why should EDM guys listen to metal? That's the same. They would say the same thing. Why are you listening to metal? You should listen to EDM. Everyone just listens to what sounds good to them. And honestly, EDM is working because people like to listen to that music. People want to dance. Less people are interested in music that is very heavy and very loud and very, it's got a certain kind of crowd to it. It's got whatever it's got, it's a choice at the end of the day.
See, I would not really compare, no genre honestly overpowers any other genres. It's about having your own critical mass and having your own fan base, Some people might cross over from here to there, but your fan base will always be there. Metal has always been niche, so no point comparing it with other genres and believing that they are taking away our clan, not really.
Don't like to compartmentalize the music that we play because putting yourself in a genre sort of limits you to playing that kind of music only. So you gotta if you want to play different music, then you gotta start listening to different music. That's just the way it is.
There was this surge of metal listeners when we were all getting into the scene, and currently I think it's sort of dissipating into various subgenres, and people are really open about music nowadays. So you can't really pigeonhole them into a specific genre and call it their life's calling or something. It's a journey. People listen to all kinds of music now, so it's a natural progression. I don't see it as a threat to metal or something. Metal will exist as it is. It's just that people have been exploring new music, and I think that should happen because it's only then the various influences come from different genres and something new emerges. Otherwise we would be listening to the same stuff all over again, and
Metal is not just amusing because of the sound, but also because we regard it as a medium to channelize our thoughts and express anger in the form of lyrics or art towards the social issues or problems in the society that affect us. It is the voice of the unheard, an attempt to create a difference through music.
See, when a band writes an album or a song, they have a particular theme in mind. So they want to portray that theme in the form of artwork, which will come as the album art. And when the band is formed, they would have a specific set of idea or mentalities that go with each other, which influence the logo of a band.
You hear a lot of people saying stuff like, I like the musicality bit of it, the instrumental bit of it, but I don't like the vocals. It just, I don't get it. Can't really expect people to get it either because it's a very harsh form of this thing. It addresses serious topics. It's not about going out fun and having parties. Some bands do talk about that as well, but again, it's that uber surge of energy, I don't think, which people are able to handle, and the kind of sonic assault you face in your ears, especially if you're wearing headphones. And it doesn't matter whether it's on headphones, even if you're blasting it on speakers, people get pretty fried by it. They're like, no, thank you.
When I was 15 and 16, just walking around with long hair, people would look, oh, what the hell? If you had a tattoo, they would be like, oh, guitar though, they'd be like, what is this gun? But now, because in Bollywood, in pop culture, tattoos are normal, long hair is normal, guitar is normal. So those things have become normalized now. It's So I think it's not the same shocker that it was years ago. Yeah, but if you're playing in a gore grind band and you tell people your lyrics are about, shit and cutting intestines and all, yeah, then there's a little more shock than there is telling them you play in like a band like DR or Bhayanak Maut or something.
My family is full of, we are Christian family. They are really orthodox. And when I plug in my speakers, suddenly they asked, hey, what kind of music you're hearing? Actually, it's purely satanic or something. So because it's full of roaring, growling and all, right? So they told, what is this actually? Then I let to explain that this is nothing satanic and all. This is a kind of genre. Actually, not in a melodious track and all. What you consider, what you think, it's just like making some sounds from throat and scenes. I just explained them. Then they were okay with that. And majority I play this metal scenes and all when nobody in my home and all.
My parents are supporting me sometimes, but when they hear to that music, they came from a background where music is soft, like Malayalam Bollywood music. It's not like that, so they hesitate a bit, but they support.
It's a hard time explaining to your parents the relevance of what you're doing, because they are always concerned about whether you're doing something important or not. So explaining that on a daily basis about what I do, why I do it, or why we do it is quite difficult.
മെറ്റൽ മ്യൂസിക് വളരെ മനോഹരമാണ്, ഇഷ്ടമാണ്, കേൾക്കാറുണ്ട്. ഈ മെറ്റൽ പാട്ടിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോൾ എല്ലാവർക്കും ഉള്ളൊരു പ്രശ്നം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇവരുടെ വേഷവിധാനം, മുടി, ഇതൊക്കെ ബർമൂഡ ട്രൗസർ ഇതൊക്കെ ഇട്ടിട്ട് നടക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇവർ വളരെ മോശമായ രീതിയിലാണ്. ഇപ്പം ഇന്നലത്തെ ടാറ്റു ഇതൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഈ മറ്റുള്ളവർ അവരെ വേഷം കണ്ടിട്ട് അവരെ വിലയിരുത്തുന്ന ഒരു രീതിയിലേക്ക് ഉണ്ടാവരുത്. അവർ ബെസ്റ്റ് കുട്ടികളാണ്, നല്ല കുട്ടികളാണെന്ന് എനിക്ക് പറയാറില്ല.
അധികം പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ അത്ഭുതപ്പെടുന്നു. ഒരു പിൻതലമുറ ഏറ്റവും ശക്തമായി ഈ സമൂഹത്തിൻ്റെ നാഡീമിടിപ്പുകൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കിക്കൊണ്ട് വരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഇതിലേറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട. എന്നെപ്പോലുള്ള ആളുകൾക്ക് അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ഡ്രഗ് ആണ് പിള്ളേർ, അതൊക്കെ വെറും തെറ്റിദ്ധാരണ മാത്രമാണ്, വെറും തെറ്റിദ്ധാരണ. ഇതല്ലാത്തവരാണ് ഇതൊക്കെ ഈ കുറുക്ക് വഴിയിൽ പണം ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്ന പിള്ളേരാണ് ഈ കഞ്ചാവടിയും കള്ളടിയും അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് വന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് പേരൻസ് ഇത്തരം ഈ സംരംഭങ്ങളെ പ്രോത്സാഹിപ്പിക്കണം. ദേ ഹാവ് ടു എൻകറേജ് ലൈക്ക് എനിത്തിങ്, പ്രൊമോട്ട് ആൻഡ് സപ്പോർട്ട്. ദിസ് ഈസ് വാട്ട് ഐ വാണ്ട് ടു സേ.
Well, to be honest, the only thing I'd say to metalheads is be a metalhead beyond Facebook. Don't just like pages and share songs. Go out for shows, buy music, buy merchandise. You are the scene. Without you buying and supporting the bands you like, there is no scene. That's pretty much it. Just go out there and be a metalhead beyond the age of 20-25 when you get a job and you have money to spend.
You got to be true to yourself. They just can't keep playing shows and when there's no support from the public, what's the point?
Just take your random friend who doesn't listen to metal, take him to a gig, let him know what the experience is. I'm sure if you take 20 friends, you'll have 5 more metalheads, 5 more people with whom you can listen to your favorite music, drink, have fun. Keep doing that. That's the only way the scene will grow.
After listening to everyone's story from the Indian metal community, the question of survival of this music has hopefully received an answer. It is just that people have different taste of music. Some people like their music soft and some people like it hard and loud. Metal musicians love to play what they play, and we the fans love the music they produce. Despite all the attempts and oppositions from the society to jeopardize this genre's fate and future, we are ready to risk it all, and we will stand for it always. Metal can probably never become mainstream, but that's fine. It remains our pride, our cult, and we are its progenies. Progenies of a counterculture.